Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your reading, your 18 plus relationship reading. I am super excited to get into your reading today. Before I do, I just want to do my usual disclaimers. This reading is for a large, unseen collective, and all energy is fluid. So that means that some messages may not resonate with you. It is your responsibility to use your discernment to determine if this is your reading or not. If it is, then no worries, boo-boo. You're welcome to find another reading for you. It can be a reading by me or anybody else, all right? So we're just here to have fun. I'm just here to share my energy, share my vibes, share this gift that I have. And if this is your reading, let me know in the comments. I love when the reading resonates because it really does show the power of divination and spirituality. It really does show that in a lot of ways we are connected. And when I do these readings, I know that no matter what the reading is, it is a hand reaching out to somebody. Somebody's story matches what I'm going to say. And so that is how I operate in faith. I don't operate hoping and wishing that every single one of you, that this reading is going to be the most accurate reading for every single person. No, I operate in faith, knowing that the message that needs to get out is going to get out, and the person or people who need to hear that message will hear it, which is why it exists, which is why I have produced it, because somebody needs it. All right, so anyway, I just had to say that. I feel like I either sometimes forget to give a disclaimer or I just kind of rush through, and I feel like sometimes people still just don't get it, what this is. So anywho, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, or Mars. Let's go ahead and just hop into the cards. So first things first, I want to use these cards to just get into the current energy in regards to love and relationships for Sagittarius, okay? What is the current energy for Sagittarius? What is the current energy for Sagittarius, Spirit? With their with love and relationships, what is Sagittarius' current energy? All right, we have the Hangman. Can I get two more cards, Spirit? What is Sagittarius' current energy in regards to love and relationships? We have Nine of Cups. And the Queen of Coins. Okay. I will take that. Queen of Coins. We have King of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Interesting. Something smells like cookies. Oh my goodness. So, Sagittarius, when it comes to love, I see you honestly not, I don't see you not being interested in somebody, but I see you kind of being uncertain, right? I think it's interesting. We're leading with this. We're leading with the Hangman, right? There's an uncertainty. There's a feeling of not fully understanding the situation. Sometimes with the Hangman, I get like this out of the loop feeling, like somebody who isn't actually privy to what's going on behind the scenes, right? They think it's one thing when it's not, or they're seeing something, but it's not really the truth, right? How they're perceiving the situation is not really accurate. But we also have this Nine of Cups, right? And then, like I said, the Queen of Coins. So I feel like this Hangman is here because you're not really sure if you want to be in a relationship. This could be in general or like with one specific person. We do have a King of Cups here. So I feel like there's somebody who wants to pursue you, right? And then there's a Seven of Swords underneath this person. So you don't know if you can trust this person, right? You don't know if you can trust this person. This is somebody either from the past, from some of you, right? Somebody who has betrayed you in the past. But for others of you, this is really just indicative of you being defensive, right? You're not really open, if we're honest, to a relationship. You have the Nine of Cups and the Queen of Coins energy letting me know that you kind of feel fulfilled, right? You feel like you have everything you need. You feel like you can provide for yourself. You feel like you can entertain yourself, right? You're not really wanting for, like, there's not, and not to say, my thing is, the best way to even begin a relationship is having a mindset of not needing to need somebody, right? You don't need to rely on somebody for these things. You just want to share this energy with somebody, right? And I think that's the best way to be. But sometimes that can feel sometimes it can feel almost like, why bother with a relationship, right? You're comfortable, right? You're technically good, right? You're good. So when with this Hangman energy, I just feel like somebody's approaching you, or has approached you, or will approach you, and it might seem good or on the surface, or good enough on the surface to maybe actually take into consideration, but at the same time you're holding back. You're not sure if you really actually want to go towards it, right? You're not actually sure but at the same time you don't trust. It's almost like you're it's like analysis paralysis, right? The Hangman is this is analysis paralysis. You aren't sure if you want to go towards something new, or you're not sure if you really can trust this situation, but you're also not sure if you're overreacting. You're not sure if you're, giving this a fair chance. You're questioning yourself while also questioning, entering into some type of situation or dating or relationship, right? So anyway, that's your energy right now, Sagittarius. It's a little all over the place. It's a little stuck. But your personal life, in terms of your relationship with self, you are good, right? You're good all by yourself. So let's get some cards from the Tarot of Sexual Magic, please. All right. What can Sagittarius expect moving forward? What can Sagittarius expect moving forward? We have Nine of Cups here. What can Sagittarius expect moving forward? What can Sagittarius expect moving forward? Just one card, please. What can Sagittarius expect moving forward? Oh, what is this? Seven of Pentacles. What can Sagittarius expect moving forward? What can Sagittarius expect moving forward? For some of you, I feel like you are currently dealing with somebody, or you're talking to somebody, right? Maybe you haven't gotten too far yet. You maybe just met. But I'm seeing a connection where you enjoy this person's company. You do like hanging out, but you're not really sure how far you're willing to take this. Okay? Can I get one more card, please? What can Sagittarius expect moving forward? What can Sagittarius expect moving forward? One card, please. Death. Interesting. And then at the bottom here we have Three of Swords. Okay. I feel like you're gonna break this person's heart. I feel like you're open to, like I said, spending time with them. But I feel like whatever you're doing in the background for yourself, this could be your career, but it has to do with like your stability, like you're building yourself. Whatever's happening on that end, it puts you in a position where you're not really able to give this person what they want, right? Even if you wanted to, you're not, because you're on a fast train going somewhere. We have the Nine of Cups right underneath the Hangman. You're fine with how things are. Somebody wants to move things forward, right? Progress things, right? Make things more serious. But with the Nine of Cups underneath this Hangman, you're kind of stuck in analysis paralysis because you don't really want to give in to change, right? You want to continue in this Nine of Cups energy where you do you, they do them, and you guys, you know, hang out or meet up when it's convenient for you, right? And it's not because you don't care, it's just you're focused. You're focused on what you're building. You're focused on yourself. So now we have the Nine of Cups, right? That initial Nine of Cups. And then Seven of Pentacles, right? I feel like for you, you just want to take it slow. It's not really like you know, oh, I'm going to throw this away, but you're just not in a rush. I feel like I said, you see this couple, they're just hanging out, sleeping on the couch. Maybe you guys Netflix and chill, or you just, you know, you're having a chill time with this person. You enjoy spending time. But at the same time, with that Seven of Pentacles, you're just not in a rush. You're not trying to hurry it. You're good with just seeing where things go. But right now, you know, right now it's not, you don't feel like it's the best time to progress this. I feel like this Death here was right underneath the Queen of Pentacles, which is you in this situation. And I feel like I said, the way you're developing yourself, you're going to be changing very soon, or you're changing right now. Maybe you're even somebody who changes often. Look how this couple is kind of like in the background, you know, sleeping, almost like this. It's like this moment between you two, it's gonna have to be put in the past, right? This situation you have where you guys are, you know, laid up and enjoying each other's company, that's really going to end up being put in the past because of a transformation you're going to make. I'm hearing that it's just going to get old, right? Whatever you're doing, you're going to develop past it. It's not going to be worth the time. And maybe you already are sensing that in yourself, but you are enjoying yourself, so you're unwilling to put it into it. But I feel like eventually it's going to happen, right? It's going to be an unavoidable change. We have the Three of Swords here at the bottom of the deck. So I feel like this is about you moving on, but also this person moving on. I feel like you both may drift apart mutually, right? You're going to be moving on with your career or what you're building for yourself, and they're probably going to find somebody else that gives them the attention or the commitment or the importance that they're asking of you, right? So some of you might not want to hear that, but that's really just the natural progression of things. I feel like the way this is now, it's not sustainable. And this person is showing up as a King of Cups, right? At the bottom of the deck over here. So at the end of the day, they are looking for an emotional connection. They are looking for somebody to, you know, invest in emotionally. And they are going to naturally be open to receiving that intimacy elsewhere. So yes, you guys may have physical intimacy and enjoy each other's time. But if what you want fundamentally is not aligning, you both are naturally just going to go your separate ways. Okay, so I want to get some cards from this deck. So let's get into it. What can Sagittarius expect moving forward? 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 Okay. We have Four of Wands. We have Ten of Cups. Okay. And then we have 5 of Cups. Yeah. I feel like this is going to be a highs and lows kind of situation. We have the Fool at the bottom of the deck. So that new beginning is inevitable, right? You both going your separate ways and having to kind of start over or try again elsewhere. It's inevitable. But I do see you both really entertaining the idea of prolonging this, right? With the 4 of Wands, I see you guys, especially underneath this 9 of Cups, it looks like a conversation. I see you guys coming together and you being honest and just, you know, expressing that you are happy with how things are. You're okay with doing things at this pace and you don't really want to make anything official. I also see with the Wands in the water, I see you telling this person, encouraging them even to find this partnership that they want elsewhere, right? You're kind of telling them to remain open with this waterway. You're like, I'm here, yes. I'm available, yes, but don't close yourself off completely from other opportunities because I'm only here for a good time. That's what I'm getting with this 4 of Wands. You explain to this person, like, I'm only really here for a good time. Stay open to others. And I feel like this person is going to try to entertain this, right? With the 7 of Pentacles and then this 10 of Cups here, this person at the end of the day, they just like you way more than you like them. And I feel like it's going to get too much, right? This person, they may attempt to remain in this connection and tell you that they can handle it and they're cool with it, and if they find somebody else, they're going to move on. But at the end of the day, you guys are continuing to connect in a lot of ways, putting, like, you know, you're picking a wound, right? And so with the 10 of Cups, it's like this wound is going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's really going to be unsustainable. All right, this person, if they're not already in love with you, they're going to fall in love with you. They're going to feel like you are the one, that being with you is what they want. With the 10 of Cups here, I also feel like this person, especially the way he's like latched onto her like this, I feel like this person, they're really in lust. They're not in love. They're feeding off of your body, right? There's something about the intimacy, the physical intimacy with you that they're very attached to. They're like fiending for it, almost like they're feeding off of it, right? And they're kind of drunk. They're kind of drunk on the sex, or drunk on, you know, just the time you spend together. Like when you kiss or hug or touch, they're fixated on it. And like I said, it's just not going to be sustainable because I don't see you focused on them. I don't see you truly interested in being bound to them in that way. We have 5 of Cups right underneath the Death card, right? And so this is going to be a loss for them, right? In the end, you're going to disappoint them. It is going to be a situation where you have to let them down, is what I'm hearing. Like I said, with the 3 of Swords, you know, their expectations are not going to be met. Their heart is going to be broken. And I don't see you guys splitting I see the you guys mutually growing apart, but I also feel like the actual split is not going to be super clean. It's not going to be a nice one. It's going to be one of disappointment, where somebody, their heart is going to be broken because it's going to hit them so hard, and they're going to be forced to realize that their needs cannot be met in this connection. No matter what they do for you, no matter what they endure, you don't seem open to making the relationship more, you know. And I don't really see exactly why. Like I said, I do see vaguely that you're focused on growing yourself, right? Yourself in terms of your career, or your, you know, there's something, it's more self-focused, right? And it just, you don't have the mental capacity to be tied up. And I think it's also a situation where this specific person doesn't really inspire that in you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not in alignment with where you're headed, so you're naturally rejecting it. But at the same time, like I said, you enjoy your time with this person. So I'm seeing a lot of sorries and apologizing, maybe even explaining yourself, but not, you know, holding back. Like, you're still going to push forward and go where you need to go. And like I said, we have the Fool here at the bottom. So this is something, to me, having the Fool here means that this is something that needs to happen, right? You both, the path for both of you is naturally leading you in two completely separate directions. So it really doesn't benefit either of you to resist it. You know, in fact, this is exciting. I think having the Fool here, indicative of a new chapter or a new beginning, is exciting. I love new beginnings, right? I love new chapters of life starting. And so, you know, maybe this is just kind of, it seems like a connection that really is just meant to pass the time, and, you know, until this new chapter begins. And if so, you know, treat it as such. And I feel like that also means that if this person can't handle it, then you might need to cut it early. That's okay, you know. But anyway, I'm going to get some advice for you, Sagittarius. I'm going to do that by getting a message from the message jar, and then I'm going to pull a card from my Pear Tree Oracle deck, okay? Spirit, what is the overall advice for Sagittarius? What is the overall advice? Alright, I'm going to open it after I get your Pear Tree Oracle advice. Spirit, what is the overall advice for Sagittarius? What is the... Spirit, what is the overall advice for Sagittarius? Okay. All right. So we have farewell. No, I mean, we have changes. Changes. I heard seasons, right? Seasons. Then we have farewells, okay? I want to open the message here now first, and then I'll get into what I have to say. Wow. This is crazy. It says love doesn't kiss ass. Oh my God. Love does not kiss ass. And as soon as I read this, I looked at this image, this 5 of Cups. And you see how this, the male figure is kind of like behind her, lifting her underwear. Maybe he's helping her put her clothes on. This person, they give way too much, right? They're codependent. And I think this is Spirit kind of like giving you that push you need. Maybe you are nervous or afraid, you don't want to hurt their feelings, but you have to understand that this person is not in love with you, right? This person is, like I said before, this person is in lust with you. So try not to get caught up in, you know, feeling too bad, right? Like, don't be rude to this person, obviously, but like, don't feel too bad about quote unquote breaking their heart, because at the end of the day, this is not love anyway. It's not going to serve either of you. This person's codependent. This person needs attention in a way that you cannot give. This person, even here in this image, where they are moved on, this male figure, he's serenading the next female, right? So this person, in a lot of ways, they need to be needed. They need to have somebody to serve or to devote themselves to, because they don't devote themselves to themselves. They don't really have, you know, for some of you, this person doesn't have hobbies. This person doesn't seem to have interests. They're not self-focused. They're not focused on their career development in the way that you are. This person is somebody who just needs to need or have another person need them, okay? And I feel like that's a big part of why this person or this relationship cannot evolve with you, why you evolve beyond it, because you don't need somebody who's going to kiss your ass. You don't need somebody who's going to put you on this weird fictional pedestal. You don't need somebody who's going to just be waiting on you all the time, waiting on you to return, waiting on you to give them attention. That's kind of just the vibe of this person. Like, they come off as if they're willing to settle, right? And not to say that you are, you know, not great, but like, they are willing to take what you're going to give them, because, and only because, they're not as focused on themselves as they should be, right? But the changes here, I saw seasons. I was looking at these planets, and I feel like this is about cycles, right? And at the end of the day, people come into our lives, teach us certain lessons, and then move on from us, and we them, right? Vice versa. Some things are only meant to last a certain amount of time so that you can learn something important. They're meant to, like, you know, travel through our experiences to kind of redirect us, right? Guide us towards what we need to see or know. And I feel like this is representative of you just kind of embracing those changes. Your advice is to, like I said, embrace the change and don't let this person's, you know, admiration of you distract you or hold you back from, you know, the higher purpose or, you know, the point, right? Your mission. Don't let yourself get caught up in this person's quote unquote feelings, because things are meant to change, right? Seasons are good, right? They allow for clarity. They make room for new, okay? Some stuff has to go so that new stuff can come in. We have farewell at the bottom of the deck. So your advice in general is to let this go, right? This is also about seasons in a lot of ways too, because she's holding on to some dead animals. And I know that's like morbid, but it's like, you know, life is cyclical. Things live and then they die. And the way she's holding on to it, she has to release. It makes no sense to hold on to something that no longer has a beating heart, that can no longer breathe or eat or sustain itself, right? Can this relationship sustain itself? It can't. So the best thing you can do is set it free, right? So some of you need to do this now, right? As soon as possible. And others of you, you know, you're making your way towards that. But that is the overall advice, that you need to say goodbye to this type of dynamic, all right? Not just this relationship, but, you know, dynamics like this. Ones where you're not in each other's life to really enrich each other. You're only in each other's lives to entertain each other, to waste each other's time. And many people are out here in relationships for that reason, because they just need somebody to pass the time with. They don't have any other goals or hobbies. They need a distraction from self. They can't be but their self for too long. They need to have a buddy or a friend or something to always lean on. And so they're going to be in a relationship or be friends with whoever is convenient and whoever is willing to be around or stick around, you know, and those types of connections are just not beneficial to anybody. So anyway, that's all I have for you today, Sagittarius. I really hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it resonated. If it did, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Feel free to leave a comment, and if you would like to be notified whenever I post new videos, then subscribe and ring that notification bell. Bye.